I personally have no issue with remakes. I think that in a lot of cases, remakes are great, and if it will get, it's a fact. If you tell a younger kid, I mean, even somebody my age, even a millennial, uh, here's a great movie, Casablanca, or another one that I don't know the name of, Citizen Kane. Great movie.
Great,
It's
Citizen
in black
Kane.
and it's in black and white. Not interested.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If it's an older movie, a lot of people won't go watch it. So if you take an old movie that you know people are going to love, and it's a story that otherwise they would never get, even if it already exists, even if it was done perfect the first time, they will never watch it, and you are able to expose that same great story to a new audience that otherwise would never see it.
Right.
I do think there's a good argument for that as far as like updating, say, references or things to that effect. So let's take Romeo and Juliet. That's an age-old story.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to really understand Romeo and Juliet, you have to like pick yourself and put yourself back into, say, the 16th century or whatever it was, and really understand the language and the customs and everything like that. And it's not very easy. And it's kind of not worth it, I don't think. I mean, some people would say it's very worth it, but they spend their whole life studying it.
That's me. Cough, cough. Shakespearean actor.
Nerd.
Right?
Yep.
Jesus.
I think making it for that purpose or kind of bringing it into the modern day does make a lot of sense because there is a lot to that story. You can say a lot of stories, borrow that same element from Romeo and Juliet into, modern plot lines, but it does make a lot of sense to bring that story into the present and kind of, make it how we would perceive it today. And maybe make some changes, but it's still like a remake.
You also must remember that Romeo and Juliet itself was a remake.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet was not... So Shakespeare wrote... this is where I'm going to nerd out for a hot second real quick. Because I went to school for Shakespearean acting. This is the one thing I know about. Shakespeare didn't write a lot of original material, and less than half of the plays that we have of him, I think, are less than a quarter are actually original. There's not too many that he actually came up with the storylines for. Romeo and Juliet was based on Romeo e Giulietta, which is an old Italian fable, which is probably based off of the connections can be drawn back to ancient Greece. And
all good stories come from.
Right. Well, where all stories come from. They cover everything, man. We have so many pieces of literature from Plautus and Terence and Aristophanes, Aeschylus, Euripides. Like, the amount of material that came out of Greece and Rome spans all of the storylines that could possibly be, you can make them aliens and whatever, but they're still accomplishing the same tasks that the ancient Greeks did. People have been people for a long time,
Some would say the whole time.
That's a bold claim.
Yeah.
It's like a meta plot because you could take, like, say, the same plot aspect and just put it into, like, say, different animals, different creatures, different setting. So you could have like a space Romeo and Juliet, and maybe it's not Romeo and Juliet per se, but it's kind of the same plot essentially.
Hey guys,
right?
Can we do space Romeo and Juliet,
please?
I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet.
Oh my god, it's probably been done. Are you kidding me? Do you guys remember when Baz Luhrmann did Romeo plus Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Paul Rudd and
yes?
Oh man, God, that was a good movie. I love that shit, dude.
I mean, wouldn't you say technically though, even West Side Story was basically Romeo and Juliet?
West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. The Lion King is Hamlet. The Lion King 1.5 is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. They're everywhere, man. Macbeth is everywhere. The Tempest is everywhere. Othello is everywhere. I mean, yeah, dude. You
Ernest
ever seen
Goes to Camp? Great movie too. Based off
Ernest Goes.
I'm sure that's some sort
What's She's the Man? That's Twelfth Night.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Remember that Amanda Bynes movie? That's Twelfth Night.
And another big one. I mean, Cinderella. How many times has the Cinderella story been remade over and over and over again?
You can trace Cinderella back to the Dark Ages.
And I guess my biggest issue, just changing it a little bit, my biggest issue isn't so much, I guess, with remakes, because we've kind of rehashed a little bit how remakes can be good, bringing in new audiences. You can be somewhat original with remakes. I would say for me, a lot of it is when somebody takes a theme that works and then just remakes that over and over again via sequels, and how less original they get when they start doing sequel movies, and how less work they put into it.
But why is there this virtue set upon originality? Why is uniqueness a virtue?
So I think what he's arguing for is not uniqueness in this case, but rather quality. Because if you have a good quality sequel, like that's what matters. If the sequel kind of sucks and it doesn't really relate to the original, cast or crew, then that's kind of where it's bad. For instance,
So wait, what makes a sequel suck then?
So let's say you take a character. So this is, I'm trying to think of because I got disappointed with a couple of things. Let's take Game of Thrones for a second. So everyone knows the last season of Game of Thrones was kind of bad. I didn't think it was that bad, but
I didn't love it.
One big issue people had with it is a lot of the characters stopped becoming kind of who they were in the earlier seasons.
Right.
Like they're played by the same actors. Their acting was still amazing, but the thing that made them so interesting kind of got diluted or changed. Like, for instance, Littlefinger just started changing throughout the seasons. He became less and less of Littlefinger. And
so not
that's
true to the source material.
Gotcha. Right. So that's one thing. Also, the source material, say, beginning Game of Thrones was very realistic and very gritty. Later Game of Thrones was definitely gritty, but it's not very realistic in that way. It doesn't have that same realism to it. So,
well, there's dragons and stuff.
There's finally dragons. God damn it. Shit, talk about fucking edging you out and making you wait forever for fucking shit. They alluded to, you carry this fucking dragon egg around forever. She's the queen of dragons. You see little baby dragons. Finally, there's goddamn dragons. They make the whole fucking movie about it. You get no dragons till the fucking end of the thing. Jesus. And they try to, I get it. You got to see a lot of tits along the way, which kind of made up for it. I'll give you that. That helped a little bit. But god damn it, I wanted to see some fucking dragons in there too. Shit. Finally.
It's weird that they recast the throne. You'd think with them being a main character in the title of the show.
I know. You'd think. And to answer your question about why is originality or quality, I guess, and another way of saying it, so important? Well, because you invest two things when you watch a movie. You invest time, which is something you can't get back, and you inevitably invest money. So if I'm going to invest the two most important things, arguably in the world for us as human beings, which is time and money, I better get something good in return for that.
Okay. And why is... So you didn't make a connection there. You just made a statement. You made no connection between originality and it being worth anything. Instead, you just said, if I invest money, it should be worth something. Well, what makes originality that thing?
Because I think when you go into investing your time into money, that's the thing that you're investing is something original and new that's going to make you feel happy, feel excited, feel scared. And if you don't get those emotions out of it because it's already been dumbed down and done a million times, and you don't get those emotions out of it, which is what you're investing your time and money for, you're not getting the return. And that is something that inevitably pisses me off with a movie. If I go into it investing my time and money, two things that I probably won't get back, especially the time part, and I don't get exactly what I invested in for, then that makes me upset.
But does that not have more to do with your own expectation than it does in whether something's original or not? Can you not be entertained by something that you've seen before? I'm going back and I'm listening to The Adventure Zone.
I love The Adventure Zone.
Amazing podcast, McElroy Brothers, live action D&D. Right now I'm re-listening to the Amnesty arc. And
I like the Amnesty arc. I run a Monster of the Week game right now.
I run two as well. I run D&D, but amazing story. I've listened to the whole thing. It's probably 30 plus hours of content. I've listened to the whole thing already. I'm listening to it again, and I'm having just as much entertainment out of it. And there's no.
I've listened to the whole.
It's literally word for word the exact same.
It's the exact same thing. Yeah, no, I've done that. I've listened to Adventure Zone 3 times through. Dude, I love that stuff. That's awesome.
Balance was mind-blowingly amazing, and
Balance was incredible.
It had tons of elements of other things I had seen before. The first time listening to it, it still threw me for a loop, and it still was entertaining. The second, right, the second time, it I enjoyed it just as much, even though I knew the story. So I don't think that originality in and of itself dictates whether you can enjoy something or not.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean-
there's a point to be made. I've watched the same porn over and over time and
Oh,
gotten off the
Jesus.
exact same
See?
way. That's true.
On
I've
a-
seen the same porn star over and over time, naked.
All right,
over and
all
over
right,
again.
all right,
Still
all
good.
right.
And I would even go
believe,
so far
Captain,
to
you have
say,
your favorite porn star. I'm sure you could watch her a million times and still get the same reaction. Right?
Okay, okay.
and I would even go as far to say, especially in a topic such as that, that there's even more value to something that you like,
That's
is
true.
going to entertain you, versus taking a risk on something that may suck, and a lot of times does suck.
Exactly.
I know I'm going to like listening to this, so I'm going to do that instead of listening to some piece of crap show.
I
Sure.
think the way to encapsulate that though is just like replayability or rewatchability. So for instance,
Mhm.
certain video games that I play once and I'm done with them. I'll never play them again. It was an amazing game, but it's just like nah. But there's other games where as soon as I stop playing them, I want to replay that game. Now it's not a matter of fact of every game that I love. Like some of the top games I have are not replayable because they're just not fun in the second time. Like
Right.
Right.
but certain games really, really playable. Same with certain movies and certain mediums. Some things I'll listen to or say watch one time and it's great, and I'll watch it again. Other things I'll never watch it again. And there's certain things where let's say as a movie or like a certain movie or plot that I really love, I'd never watch it again. Let's say I watch something's a remake of that or something which is very similar to it. I'm not gonna like that thing because I wouldn't watch the first thing that I loved again. This is the other thing that's a remake of it. I'm like, I've seen this already. Now, other things I might watch again, but that's just like different categories of rewatchability. It doesn't mean it's good or bad or anything like that. The original idea, it just means that aspect of say, hey, yeah, let's check this out again. It's not there.
And I do
Right.
want to be clear. I'm not saying that I don't see value in something new, because I do. I'm not going to only listen to the Adventure Zone for the rest of my life. I fucking love pizza. I'm not going to only eat pizza for the rest of my life. I
Yeah.
get that new things have value. I'm just trying to figure out why.
I'm a kind of
Right.
weird person myself because I watch reaction videos. So for people who don't know, there's videos on YouTube where you watch people watch like a TV show or like a movie or something that you like, and then you hear them
That's so
commentate and
strange.
give reviews.
Oh, so you like reaction videos? Name one.
Name one?
Name one.
What, like a channel?
Yes.
Oh, Symbols to Sanity is a good one.
Nate, come
He's
on,
on
buddy.
it.
Name your own fucking show, bud.
Oh, Pepin Reacts. Well, Pepin Reacts is a great one. It's on Vimeo. Not on
You
YouTube.
have your own
Nice.
reaction.
Fucking hates
All
me.
right.
Is this your first time?
I wasn't gonna
All right.
plug myself. But if
So-
you
Oh,
want,
see, I'm still waiting. I'm waiting to find the right moment to plug myself. So
There definitely will be, and it'll probably be while you're watching those porn videos.
yeah.
What size plugs do
Yes.
you guys use, by the way?
Oh,
No. Oh.
Whatever size the audience will let me.
I mean,
Okay. Good. Yeah. why
nice.
Steve,
So
you're
do
not
you
on
do-
camera, so you can go ahead.
not? So you do reaction videos? Do you do unboxing videos too? Because that's another thing that like
I have an unboxing series.
really.
What?
Yeah, where I unbox things that aren't intended to be unboxed, like cereal.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think that's a very funny concept.
I think that's awesome.
All right, going back to reaction videos, Nathan, what was the point you were making about them?
The point is that so I like reaction videos. So certain series I get really into, like I'm not someone who has like a wide width of depth, but like a strong like interest in one thing. If I really like a series, I want to know what people think of it. I want to watch it like 600 times, but not just by myself. I want to watch it with other people and see what they think, how
Through
they
another
react to
lens.
things. Yeah,
Hmm.
because unfortunately I don't have friends, or friends that will watch these series with me and be as into it as I. You know, I got my girlfriend now. I get her to watch certain shows with me, and I can get her reaction. I make her have a discussion with me after we watch an episode. But
She really hates watching stuff with you. Then I take it. That's
no, she actually likes it. I got her into Game of Thrones.
really.
We're watching
Oh wow.
a film like his Brotherhood. There's certain shows she like. I'm only sure are really good ones, not sucky shows. So
That's
Go.
good.
So
Does
what's
she do
interesting-
it back to you? Does she make you watch things that you would hate to watch and then react to them? And are you truthful if you really hate it? That's the big thing.
yeah. Well, so she has shared a couple shows with me. We were watching Arrow, and I couldn't get into Arrow. That one kind of sucked.
Same.
Yeah.
Just too
Yeah,
big.
my wife made me watch Flash.
My wife.
My wife.
That's
She made me watch a
obligatory.
Flash. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
Very
it's-
nice.
So that's very interesting to me, Nathan, because I would equate that to a remake. Like you're watching the same story, literally, but you're doing it through a slightly different lens of give me your perception of this same thing that I already know I love. And that's the same concept as a remake to me.
Well, the reaction is a little bit meta too, because what I enjoy out of it is watching someone like I'm watching someone else watching it and seeing how they might react to it based off their personality.
Is there getting back to porn real quick, is there a porn category of people watching porn? Like
Yeah,
the video
there
is of the reaction of the people watching porn?
Kind of. So there's like people watching it and masturbating. That's a category. I've
Yikes.
been wanting to pioneer my own like special, like not like jerking off, just kind of watching it and commentating on it. Like, oh, hey, what's going on here? Oh,
We
she's
should do
Oh
like,
no.
like sports play-by-play, but of porn. That would be.
and the doggy style.
Yeah,
Here comes the
That's-
triple Lindy. So you, Nathan,
It's a niche audience.
that is the niche audience.
That's the one that will spend tons of money to see it, even though there's tons of free stuff out there. So that's the
That's
audience
true.
you want to get. You know.
So you're
That's
like
true.
you want to do like the cinema snob.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that is a fascinating as well. We've never talked, or maybe we have, about like the whole that guy with the glasses idea and the what was birthed early by of internet reviewers, by like Angry Video Game Nerd and things like that, where people watch stuff and either recap it or just commentate on it. I think that's a very, very interesting, and it falls again under the same guys.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I watch a lot of that stuff. I don't watch movies, but I watch people review movies that I've never seen. I really like that. Sometimes I watch review series of like episode by episode of shows I've never seen just in the background. That's kind of interesting because I'm like, oh, what's this show about?
I've been
And-
doing that with wrestling, just like different. A guy, Brian Zane, Wrestling with Regret. He recaps like different pay-per-views and he goes over the match and like the hot spots in them and what goes on in the storyline. I love that because then I don't have to invest 3 hours in watching WrestleMania. I can watch this guy talk about it for 20 minutes and get all of the highlights.
It's
Mhm.
like footnotes, but for movies and shows. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's pretty. Now, do you watch them to sort of see if it's something you want to end up watching, or just because
no, that is the end of me watching it. Is now I've seen it.
There you go.
There's been a couple times I've done something like that and I've actually gotten into it, like something I haven't actually seen myself. So, for instance, I got into Dark Souls lore for some reason. So, like, I just started watching these Dark Souls lore videos and just
Okay.
video by
Nice.
video. I never played the game. Eventually, I got to it where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play the game now. I never actually seen anyone play the game either. I just started lore videos. I don't know how that happened.
No kidding.
Well, that's one of the nerdiest things you've ever said.
I love it. I love it.
I think there's something to be said about originality within things that are technically unoriginal, like that. For instance, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and I'm rewatching it again right now because there's nothing else to do, is The Sopranos. Okay, how many times has the wise guy, mafia, mobster type movies and shows been done? A bazillion times. But there's something oddly unique about The Sopranos, especially at the beginning, where it's really from the point of view of a mobster revealing how he actually feels and reacts to the things he does to his psychiatrist. A point of view that you'd never see anywhere else, especially since, especially as they allude to it in the movie and the shows, that, you know, mobsters can't go see psychiatrists because it's they're admitting that there's some sort of weakness. So there's definitely originality in, I guess, things that are unoriginal. So I can see why the allure of, you know, talking about people reviewing or reacting to things is there, because it's still original. They're still having original ideas on something that is unoriginal.
And also, I catch things that I didn't catch before. So the kind of plots I like are ones that are super deep and kind of go metaphysical. So I don't know if anybody's watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but that's a show where it goes super, super deep into philosophy and different metaphysical kind of ideas. So I catch things and put things together that I didn't before, or I see perspectives on characters that I didn't see before. I wouldn't be able to do that with like a very shallow show, but a very deep show, I can get that kind of a full or deeper picture.
Huh.
So Dr. S, it sounds like you're backing down from your point, and I'd like to know if that's the case or if that's just the perception that I have.
I love this.
Do you still feel that originality is more important than retelling an old story?
Yes and no. I think if you're going to retell an old story, you got to put an original, fresh spin on it.
Okay.
I think. So, can you tell the same old story a million times and have it be entertaining? Yes. But it's just, I think, the lack of effort and zest and zeal that Hollywood has for artistic value anymore in it. Yeah, they tell the same old story over and over again before, and they've done it, and it's been entertaining. But now I feel like they just, instead of remaking it, they just put a new coat of paint on it and tell me it's something new and a new fresh take, where it's the exact same thing, but instead of it being blue, it's green now. And they didn't change any of the features, at all.
And I guess my problem with that is that you're looking for artistic flavor. You're looking for an artistic take from a company. And that's not what companies do. Companies make money. That is their job. That's what they do. And you're saying that a company, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna shove some words in your mouth, but I think you're gonna like the taste.
Oh, I love that. All right.
these companies are making movies, and their job is to make money. But you're saying that movies are an artistic expression, and to do that is a bastardization of the entire concept of the art of making movies, and therefore it drags down what a movie is to you. A movie to you is an artistic expression, and by a company slapping a coat of paint on it, it's bastardizing the entire thought behind what it is.
Well, I also think it's destroying them in the long run. They're making short money by doing that.
I mean, are they? Disney owns literally everything. They're not losing any money.
Well, as of right now, Disney is losing $38 million a day.
Okay, everybody's losing money right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't well, except Amazon.
So they don't really have a sustainable plan. I mean, really, if you think about it, they're going to have to change things up.
I 100% disagree.
I think they're going to have to start changing up what they're doing. And I'll give it to them. Besides the live action movies, they are ones to put out original content for sure. Definitely. They put out original stuff quite often. I mean, Moana, okay, kids movie, but that's a very original movie.
Moana's great. I love Moana.
I love Moana.
I think Fox and the Hound was a very original movie. Does it have pieces of other type of stories in it? Absolutely, but a very original movie. I'm not. My thing is not 100% against with Disney, even though I know that's who we started using at the beginning. But I think with Hollywood productions in general, if they continue down the road of, especially with sequels, putting out cheap, terrible product, and they don't start investing more in some sort of artistic nature and originality and actual thought, I think they'll end up eventually shooting themselves in the foot, and some other entity could easily take over.
And I 100% disagree with everything you're saying. I think that you take a company like Lionsgate, which does exactly that. And they are, Saw, Rambo, Hunger
Wicked
Games.
original. All of those are super original.
That's what I'm saying.
Hunger Games.
That's what I'm saying. They're more original in what they do. Right now, their stock price is worth $7. Disney is worth $106 per share. Disney makes a fuck ton of money. They need to change nothing. In fact, they need to stay doing what they're doing because they're doing it right. So if remaking movies gets you $100 per share more money, there is zero chance that in America anything's going to change or should change. They should keep doing what they're doing as a business.
They're also more than movies as well, though. I mean, they also own the news. They own sports.
They own everything. I mean, they do.
Yeah, Disney is the world.
But they were able to do that based on where they started, which was making movies and then remaking movies and then buying everything.
And it was super original. I mean, nobody had ever seen a walking, dancing mouse on a boat in black and white before. I mean,
well, here's the thing for me. So originality is like if you're looking at films as a whole, right? and you're grading a film to see how good it is. There's a bunch of check boxes, right? For cinematography and costume design and sound design and mixing and photography and casting and all of these check boxes, right? Originality is one of those check boxes. Now, if it's not an original film, if it lacks originality but makes up for it in other ways, then that's totally acceptable. If it still lacks in other areas, then it's, not a good movie. But I don't know. I on the whole, I would rather see a new film than a remake of RoboCop. But if you're looking at the genre of just film as a whole, I mean, creativity and originality are just qualities to be put onto a film.
I'm going to get really pretentious here for a second. So I think originality might be the wrong word. I think novelty might be a better word.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it's a better word for sure. Absolutely.
And also, I think a really good film will, let's say you watch a really good remake, it will imbue a sense of, this is another big word here, pretentious, jamais vu. So the experience of seeing something familiar, but it feels different. So you might be looking at something and you've seen this before, but you can't quite place it, and this feels new.
Wow, way to drop the name of my album.
Oh. Jamais vu. That is the opposite of deja vu.
Oh,
it's
really?
Deja vu and jamais vu.
I went to a state college, so I have no idea. But
I don't know about opposite, but yeah.
Yeah, they're the French expressions for what you call them?
Jamais vu. What is it?
Jamais.
Jamais vu. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's JAMAIS.
I've never known how to pronounce it. I've always just said jamas.
It's jamais. Yeah,
it's French. You leave off the last letter, and that's how you pronounce it.
That's right.
So, had you finished your point, Nathan? You were talking about jamais vu, and then we.
Yeah, so I think that novelty is a better metric to look at instead of originality, because there's something feel new is different than is this original, because there's plenty of stuff that is like, say, novel, but it's not new. And I think a good movie, let's say a remake, the ultimate remake would be one that makes it's like a new experience, it feels completely new, but also somewhat familiar. I think there's that feeling there.
Right.
Sure.
Where you can get the excitement of something, of feeling a new emotion, but nostalgia at the same time, then which is extremely hard to do. I mean, nothing against the people that have tried it and failed. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, for sure.
Well, that's
absolutely. It's like making a new podcast. How many bazillions of podcasts are there out there? Like millions, especially right now. How hard is it to come up with something that is a newer idea? It's impossible to come up with a completely new idea that hasn't been done, but you have to have enough novelty in it to make it stick out from all the other shows that are just like it. So, it's.
So let's wrap up here with actually saying a movie that we might remake. Say movie or TV show, either or video game. But if you don't have a movie, but let's start with Meter.
I don't have any of those. Instead, I want to remake an old internet classic, The Ultimate Showdown.
Oh yes!
Oh,
with all new people.
All new people?
Maybe throw in some of the old ones, but a lot of new ones too.
I want to still see Spock, The Rock, Doc Ock, and Hulk Hogan.
Okay, that's fair.
If I had to do I would do a TV show, and I would like to redo Cheers. That's what I would do.
Ooh.
I'd like to see a modern day Cheers.
Yeah, with the new Woody Harrelson.
No, I'd keep the old Woody Harrelson. He'd be like the bartender.
Woody Harrelson plays Norm. Woody Harrelson plays Norm.
There you go. Oh, I like that a lot.
Oh, and then he has to get a new Woody.
Yeah.
Tim Allen?
Exactly. No,
Tim Allen.
Too old. I don't know who we would do. I'm sure CV would throw in Zac Efron.
I was going to say, we know who it would be.
Zac Efron. Zac Efron's there somewhere.
I think myself, I'd want to see Gangbangers 4 remade.
Nice.
Wait, which? Okay.
Gangbangers 4. Who's in that? Who's in that original?
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
How would you recast Stormy? I mean, she's pretty good. I don't know.
Keep Stormy. The rest of them are Muppets.
Oh yes! Yes! Fantastic. That'd be great news.
Actually, to be serious, I think I'd like to see Ants remade.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That would be pretty good.
Better CGI, just because the CGI doesn't hold
Yeah.
up anymore.
Live action
Ants got overshadowed by Bugs Life, and
Absolutely.
True.
I think it was arguably the better movie.
Bugs
You
Life.
think Ants was a better movie?
It was better than A Bug's Life.
Yeah,
Huh.
especially for the adult.
I guess I haven't seen
audience,
Ants
for
in a
sure.
while.
Bugs Life was good, but it was the classic tale, and I think Ants added some flavor that wasn't in the pop culture at the time, and I think it had a better message.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
that's
Ants
fun.
definitely had a better message for sure.
It's fun. I like that.
Close to the same message, but Ants did it better for sure.
What you got, Wingate?
I think I would like to remake a series of films as a specifically like Netflix original series, right? Harry Potter. I want to see them do what they did with a series of unfortunate events and split up each book into like 2 or 3 episodes. So you could take Harry Potter and you could run it for 7 seasons, and each season would be a book.
Yeah, I'm down
That's a good
for that.
idea.
And you
I
could
like
get really into like they left out Peeves, the poltergeist. They left out like huge chunks of the book that just didn't make it into the movies, and I'd love to see them get like real book oriented.
They left out pretty much everything that Hermione did with freeing the house elves, and
That's true.
tons of different stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would actually really like to see that remake. And like for shits and giggles, bring back Daniel Radcliffe, have him play somebody, like
Harry's dad.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he could easily be Harry's dad.
He could
looks
play
just like
Harry's
him right now anyway.
Patronus. Harry Potter's
Yeah.
Patronus is no longer a stag. Now
It's just Daniel Radcliffe. But it's Daniel Radcliffe from Guns Akimbo with the guns bolted to his hands, wearing like the bunny slippers and shit.
Yes.
It's wasn't he in that? What was it? Holmes and Watson? Maybe he's in that. Maybe he's in that dress up instead.
Nice. What about Horns? Daniel Radcliffe from Horns.
Wait, is that one of those ones on Pornhub or?
No, what? You haven't seen Horns?
No, I have.
Oh, it's so good.
Sounds great.
It's so good.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. The Recasting Couch, you guys take classic movies and you do what we just did at the end here, and you recast them with different people. Sometimes it's hilarious. Sometimes you're making really good points, and most of the time, every episode I've listened to so far, and I can only say so far, it has been amazing, and I'm really, really happy that you guys are out here making it. It's really good content, and I highly suggest it.
Hey, well, thanks for having us
Aw,
on.
you're so sweet. Thanks for having
If
us,
you guys
guys.
were
You guys
going
are
to
great.
recast the Recasting Couch, who would you put in?
Oh, Jesus. Well, for me, I'd put Kirk Minahan in my place easily.
Kirk Minahan plays you.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd plays me.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, perfect. There it is. That's a perfect recasting.
Well, we'll get them on the phone, and next time we'll have them on.
Perfect.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Hey, Nate, what's your fit? Who would you recast this as?
Well, first meter, I would keep myself the same, and I would actually change you to Detail Angel.
Oh, Nate, we need to talk.